The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. October 2023.
Yeah, the Beckham documentary, it was huge. Everywhere on Netflix.
Totally dominated. Critics loved it. Emmy nominations. Everyone calling it surprisingly candid. A riveting watch.
Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join us, Jordan Jamie, as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and, yeah, those viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we're diving deep into Beckham. Because beneath that glossy confessional surface, well, something else is going on.
Exactly. We're looking at it not just as a biography, but maybe the most sophisticated product from Brand Beckham yet. Think of it as a massive PR move.
A reputational reset. That's the key phrase, isn't it?
Absolutely. They weren't just reminiscing. They were, actively trying to reshape the narrative.
Polish of the brand.
And the timing. Well, it wasn't accidental, right? It landed in October 2023.
Which was right after all that heavy criticism in late 2022. The Qatar World Cup ambassadorship. That multi-million-pound deal that caused such a stir because of Qatar's human rights record.
Precisely. So suddenly, this documentary appears, shifting the focus away from that whole controversy.
Steering it back towards the glory days, the humble beginnings, the icon.
Clever.
Very clever. So let's start with how they actually made it, the production itself.
Okay, segment 1, the architecture of authenticity. Because there's a potential conflict of interest here, masked by some big names.
Well, yeah, a pretty major one. The series was produced by Studio 99.
And Studio 99 is?
Co-founded by David Beckham himself and his long-term manager, David Gardner.
So he's essentially producing his own life story. That's not exactly impartial, is it?
Not at all. It's fundamentally self-produced. But, and this is the smart part, they masked that really well.
How do they make it feel so objective?
They brought in top-tier, respected talent, people seen as independent, like director Fisher Stevens.
Oh, from Succession? Okay, yeah. Big name. Serious credentials. Exactly. And the editor, Michael Hart, an Emmy winner, their involvement gives it that instant feeling of, proper filmmaking, editorial rigor.
So it looks like an independent documentary, even though the subject is basically funding and controlling it.
Spot on. And all that never-before-seen footage everyone loved.
Yeah.
It's not like some investigative journalist dug it up. It's from the Beckham family's own archives. It's a controlled release.
A controlled release of proprietary assets. Wow. So he's deciding exactly what private moments we get to see and calling it candid.
It's a masterclass, really. And think about the commercial angle here.
Go on.
The documentary is a huge hit. Suddenly, Studio 99 isn't just Beckham's company. It's an Emmy-nominated production house.
Ah, so it validates the studio itself, builds its credibility.
Totally. It enhances the whole Beckham brand portfolio and, crucially, paves the way for more projects.
Like the Victoria Beckham series they've already announced.
Exactly that. It creates this powerful sort of flywheel effect. The documentary promotes the brand, which boosts the studio, which can then make more content to promote the brand. You see.
Yeah, it's a self-sustaining cycle. Okay, so they controlled the production, they controlled the archive footage. But how do they manage the past? The tricky bits.
Now that's where the narrative strategy gets really interesting.
Later, we'll analyze how they reframed his biggest professional setbacks as heroic acts of survival. That's the real magic trick here.
Right. Let's get into segment 2, Forging the Legend, or how you turn victimhood into resilience.
It starts predictably, right? The origin story, humble roots, working-class kid.
Driven. And then, bang, the halfway line goal in '96. The kick.
That put him on the map. Made him a superstar overnight. Attracted Victoria Adams. Posh spice.
Sets the stage. But the real emotional core of this reframing exercise is 1998, the World Cup.
Oh, the red card against Argentina. That whole episode is intense.
It really is. They go deep into the fallout. The effigy hung outside the pub, the death threats, the abuse. He says he was absolutely broken.
Victoria says he was clinically depressed. You feel it.
And that suffering is crucial. Back in '98, the tabloids crucified him. One stupid boy was the headline, remember?
Yeah, he was the villain.
But the documentary, looking back 25 years later, reframes it completely. They use a 2023 lens.
How so?
It becomes about mental health, about toxic media culture, the pressure. Suddenly he's the victim. The narrative shifts blame onto the public and the press.
So he's not just the guy who made a mistake on the pitch. He's this vulnerable figure who showed incredible resilience against, like, overwhelming psychological attack.
Exactly. It's a much more heroic narrative than just saying sorry or making amends. It's about survival.
And they use a similar tactic with the whole Sir Alex Ferguson relationship breakdown, right?
Mm-hmm. Especially the infamous boot incident in 2003.
Right after a loss, Ferguson apparently kicked a football boot in the dressing room.
And it hit Beckham up of the eye. Needed stitches. The documentary really leans into this moment.
Why? What's the strategic purpose there?
Well, remember, a lot of Man United fans felt Beckham betrayed the club by leaving for Real Madrid. Chasing fame, money, the Galacticos.
Right, it wasn't a clean break in many people's eyes.
But the boot incident, it provides a simple, dramatic reason for the split. It reframes a really complex situation about fame, money, control, clashing egos into something much simpler.
Like a son needing to escape an overbearing, even violent father figure.
Pretty much. It absolves Beckham of the betrayal narrative and makes Ferguson look like the unreasonable one who drove him away.
Very neat. And woven through all of this is Posh and Bex, their relationship.
It's the emotional spine, definitely. The documentary emphasizes how they survived all the pressure, the media frenzy.
Including the later infidelity allegations.
Yes, what Victoria calls the hardest period. They frame surviving that as this ultimate testament to their strength, their family loyalty. It turns a potential scandal into something brand-affirming.
Wow. That's some serious narrative control. But even with all that careful framing, there are things missing, aren't there? Big things.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even the wildest part. If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Especially when we look at what they deliberately left out. Segment 3. The Ghosts in the Machine.
Let's talk about the black holes, what's not in the documentary, the strategic omissions.
Number 1 has to be the elephant in the room, Qatar.
The 150 million blind spot, that massive controversial ambassadorship for the 2022 World Cup, it's just gone.
Completely ignored. The documentary timeline conveniently stops just before it really kicks off.
And the justification given by the director, Fisher Stevens, was, well, pretty flimsy.
What did he say?
He claimed they skipped it to avoid dating the series. And get this, that the Qatar issue wasn't globally relevant.
Not globally relevant. A FIFA World Cup ambassadorship tied to major human rights controversies. That's weak.
It's incredibly weak. It screams reputational shielding. They had to leave it out to maintain the clean slate narrative they were building. Mentioning Qatar would have totally undermined the whole point.
Okay, so that's a huge recent omission. What else?
Omission number 2, the football leak scandal from 2017. Remember those hacked emails?
Oh, right. The ones where he allegedly, well, didn't sound very humble.
Exactly. They revealed this private persona that was, let's say, starkly different from the public image.
Didn't they show him furious about not getting a knighthood?
Yeah, reportedly using some pretty choice language, calling the honors committee unappreciative skis, and apparently dismissing Katherine Jenkins's OBE as a Fing joke.
Yikes. Okay, I can see why that didn't make the cut.
Absolutely non-negotiable for Brand Beckham. Those emails directly contradict the whole humble, selfless, man-of-the-people image the documentary works so hard to build. Leaving them out proves image control was paramount.
Okay, Qatar, the knighthood emails.
Yeah.
What's the third big omission?
The unnamed woman. The Rebecca Luce affair allegations from back in 2004.
Ah, how did they handle that period? Because it was a massive media storm.
Very carefully. The documentary acknowledges it was a crisis. Victoria talks about it being the most unhappy she'd ever been. The focus is all on her pain, their struggle as a couple against the tabloids.
But Luce herself.
Never named. Her specific, detailed allegations of a 4-month affair, completely absent.
So they acknowledge the feeling of crisis, but not the specifics or the alleged other person involved.
It's a classic PR move, sometimes called narrative inoculation.
Yeah.
You admit there was difficulty, you show the emotion that makes you look candid.
But by framing it purely as us against the world, against the media pressure.
You implicitly deny legitimacy to the actual accuser and the substance of her claims without having to directly refute them. It becomes a story about marital resilience, not infidelity.
So they omitted Qatar, the angry emails, the specifics of the affair allegations. Yet the documentary felt so honest to so many people. How did they pull that off?
Well, it probably came down to one absolutely brilliant, seemingly spontaneous moment.
Which one?
The Rolls-Royce moment, you know the one, it went viral.
Oh. When David interrupts Victoria talking about her working-class background.
Yes. She's saying her family was very working class, and he pops his head around the corner.
Be honest.
He keeps saying it. What car did your dad drive you to school in? Until she finally reluctantly admits.
Okay, in the 80s, my dad had a Rolls Royce. It was genuinely funny,
Charming.
totally charming, and that's why it was a masterstroke of what you might call calculated candor.
Calculated candor. Explain that.
Look, if the documentary had been completely polished, totally sanitized, people like you watching would be cynical, right? We're media savvy.
Sure, you'd see right through it.
But this moment
Mm-hmm.
about the Rolls Royce, it feels real. It's low stakes. I mean, who really cares if her dad had a Rolls Royce? But it feels like a genuine, unguarded interaction. A little peek behind the curtain.
Okay, I see. It's like they paid a small price admitting to the roles to buy our trust. Exactly. It lowers your critical defenses. Because you feel like you've seen one honest moment, you're subconsciously more willing to accept the other, much more carefully managed narratives as equally authentic.
Like the Ferguson boot incident explanation or the way they handled the affair talk.
Precisely. That one charming viral clip about something trivial makes the whole package seem more trustworthy. It's brilliant.
So, the final verdict. Beckham, the documentary.
Is a landmark achievement, really. But in modern celebrity brand management, not necessarily in biographical truth.
It used high-end production, real emotion, and that calculated candor.
To deliver a super polished, highly authorized, and ultimately very commercial version of the story. A flawless victory for Brand Beckham, you could say.
Which brings us back to the key takeaway for you, listening at home.
Given how clearly the documentary functions to manage current problems like ignoring Qatar by carefully curating the past.
You always have to ask, who's telling this story? And why?
Especially when the subject owns a production company and the archive footage. Who holds the camera matters.
Definitely something to think about next time you watch a seemingly candid celebrity tell-all. Always question the narrative.
And what isn't being said.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.